Hello learners, today we are going to discuss information services in academic and research libraries. The prime objective of this module is to educate you what are the information services we provide in academic and research library. If you look into the library and storehouse, the major difference in storehouse and the library is that it is because of its services. In the storehouse also you will find lots of books are there, similarly lots of books you can also find in the library also. But which distinguish between two is only the services. Services made it a different institution altogether, and that is why library is known for its services rather than its collections. So, why we need information, that we need to understand before starting an information services in library. So, there are various concept and various understanding behind it why we need an information in day to day life. And the concept of information need was coined by American Association, American information journalist Robert S. Taylor in his 1962 article The Process of Asking Questions, which was published in American Documentations. And if you look into the daily life, we need information in emergencies. Sometimes we have to call the ambulance, how to call ambulance, which are the number we should use to call the ambulance, how much time ambulance takes, and what are the various risks. To cover the risk also we need information. Sometimes we take risk for the economic factors, we do several investments, that time we need information, and there are various risk factors we need an information to take any kind of risk in our life, whether it is investment or whether taking any decision in day to day life. For health purposes also we need information, where our hospitals is located, which doctor will suits to a particular disease, which hospital is best in that field, that also we can judge only when we have a appropriate information in that area. In addition to that, we also need information in education. Students need information for their day to day activities. We also need information in transportation when we commute from our home to the institutions, whether it is a workplace or whether it is our institution where we are studying. We need information about transportation, at what time buses come on, through which route buses go. So, all these require an information in day to day life. In addition to that, for economic opportunity, including the job information, where jobs are available, where the jobs trainings are being provided, small business assistance, what are the assistance being provided to the small business. All these initiative also we need an information in day to day life. In addition to that, environmental, including information about air and water quality nowadays, because environmental pollution is a major problem. So, sometimes we have to cycle outdoor. So, in which air quality it's healthy to cycling outside. So, that kind of information is also we need in day to day life. Besides that, civic information, including information of civic institutions and opportunity to associate with others. Sometimes we also need political information, including the information about the candidates of all relevant levels of local governance. Researcher need information to do research and to avoid duplication of research, and the need of information is utmost required for the researcher, like what is the timeline we have to complete the research outcome, what are the previous studies in that particular area has already been done, because if we do not know about the previous study done in our area, there will be chances of duplication of research, and therefore, we need to avoid that duplication, because if we will duplicate that research, it will be a clear wastage of resources, it will be a clear waste of the time, and it will be the wastage of manpower. Therefore, we need to avoid the duplication of research while conducting a research in the research and academic institutions. Information is needed by businessmen also and other organization for the following purpose, such as the planning purpose. When we are planning to establish a business center, whether we are planning to initiate a new product in the company, or whether we are planning to make an investment in different allied companies, we need information. And this, at the planning stage, information is most important ingredient in decision making. Information at planning stage includes that of business resources, assets, liabilities, plant and machineries, properties, suppliers, customers, competitors, market and market dynamics, fiscal policy changes of the government, emerging technologies, etc. So, at all stages in the planning we need informations. Besides that, for the recording, business processing these days involve recording information about each transaction or the events, and that time also we need information. Controlling, it requires at operational level, and effectiveness at the tactical and strategical level also we need information. And besides that, to measuring purpose, a business measure its performance metrics by collecting and analyzing sales data, cost of manufacturing and profit earned. So, we can only measure the outcome of our business in business organization when we have an information. If we do not have an information, we will not be able to analyze its profit or loss in any business organizations. So, there are various type of informations, and broadly we can categorize these information into the current information needs, exhaustive information needs, everyday information needs, and catching up information needs. If you understand the current information needs, in current information needs, user need to keep themselves up to date with the latest development in their field. User need information on regular basis to follow the current updates in his own field and allied areas. Researcher has to follow the updates on research topic, so that latest information can be added in the report. This helps the researcher to do the better research. So, for instance, if I am doing a research on a particular topic, I need a current information to or related to that topic on a daily basis. If I won't have any current information end of my research, I am going to do a an outdated research basically. So, this antiquated research will not have any relevance, will not have any impact. Therefore, to make an impact of the research, we should have all the current information, all the current article published on that topic of the studies all around the world, and that is segregated in various journals. And because the primary information is so segregated and so unorganized, it is very difficult to follow for the researchers these research updates and follow this current information. Therefore, researchers libraries have to provide the current information services to the researchers, so that they can abreast with the latest development in their field or the allied field or the field which make an impact related to his studies. Besides that, there are another type of information need is exhaustive information needs. So, sometime researchers has to initiate their studies. While initiating their studies, they need to understand what are the previous studies has been done in that area. Therefore, they search various databases on the web, they also consult various primary sources, various secondary sources in the form of encyclopedia, dictionaries, directory, and they also consult various tertiary sources. So, they need a complete maximum information. So, this maximum information will help the researchers to better understand the topic of the studies, so that they can make a decision, they can narrow down the scope, they can use an appropriate methodology, and they will also understand what are the methodology followed by the researcher in the previous studies. Therefore, this exhaustive information needs will help the researchers to get the maximum information related to the area of the studies. And this exhaustive information need has a also impact while discussing the results of the studies, because we have to do the cross referencings, what is found in our studies and what was found in other studies. So, cross referencing is also vital and that therefore we have exhaustive information needs. Researchers has their exhaustive information needs. So on the basis of these exhaustive information needs, library has to start such kind of services which cater to the exhaustive informations of the researchers. So researchers need information relating to his topic of the study as exhaustive as possible. This helps the researcher to comprehend his research topic better. So there are various reasons that the researcher has an exhaustive information need. Even in as a layman also, laymen when they have to make a decisions in their day to day life, or when they have to make major decisions in their life, they need a maximum information so that they can do a better decision making. For instance, I am giving you a very simple example which applies to the common man. Suppose I have to buy a car. I have to buy a car for my own, and I can't simply make a choice on the internet, that simply choosing one car and I can decide. So I need information, what are the cars available in the market, what are their mileages, what are their pricing, and what are the warranty they are giving. So when we have a exhaustive information about that car available in the market, it will be easy for a common man to make a decision. So this exhaustive information is very vital, and libraries have to provide various services based on this exhaustive information needs of the users. The third type of information need is everyday information needs. This type of information is required by the user on day to day basis relating to his research work. The researcher may face any inhibit in doing his research work and need information on day to day basis. Therefore, such information required to day basis. Everyday information needs range from spelling of words, name of equipments, of vendors, or any problem they face while doing their research. For instance, I am doing my research, empirical research, and while empirical research I face a problem that I need some software. So where I can find that software, which organization has that software, whether my organization subscribe to that software or not. So all these are everyday information need, and once I found that software, then my information need would be what are the formulas applied to that data, so that the appropriate results can be derived out of it. So I also have to find out the statisticians, where I can find the appropriate statistician who can help me in choosing the various formulas which can be applied to achieve my objectives. So this is everyday information needs. I am giving you one more example, like in experimental research, when the scientists do their research, sometimes they face problem that that particular equipment is not supporting or not working. Then they need an information how this equipment can be made functional, what are the vendor who can come to their lab and they can solve that problems. So all these are everyday information needs, and library also have to keep in mind this everyday information needs before starting an information services in academic and research libraries. And fourth type of information need is called catching up information needs. Sometimes user need information relating to the allied subject in short and comprehensive form. Due to short of time, he has to comprehend the subject in brief within a shortest possible time. Therefore, this type of information need is fall in the category of catching up information needs. I am giving you one example. Suppose I am doing research on making a fan which can run automatically after when someone enter in the room. So in that category, the scientist has to understand the sensor technology. They also have to understand what are the study has been done on the fan previously. So for understanding the sensor technology by the scientist, suppose scientist does not have the understanding of sensor technology. So he need only the basic information about the sensor technology, or he needs something basic which is related to the sensor technology. So this kind of information need is called catching up information need, where the scientists need information in brief rather than reading several hundred articles about that brief concept. So this information need is also vital, and the library also have to focus on this, providing how they can provide this catching up information, how they can solve the catching up information needs of the users in their organization, whether it is academic or the research organizations. So, broadly we can categorize the information needs is like journal reading needs or the need for the informations. So, journal reading needs, like I need reading material for the fictions, I need reading materials like the newspapers. So, journal reading needs is also another type of information needs, or sometimes the need for the informal information. So, the information which does not fall under the academic or research category, I also need sometimes the informal kind of information. So, that is another type of information needs we can categorize. So, on the basis of these information needs, library has to start the various services. Why these information needs are important? Because if these services are only for information services are only for the users and the stakeholders of the institutions. So, if we do not provide the appropriate information services to the user, they will not have any use, and therefore, we have to first understand their information needs. Their information need may be more than these 6 category which we discussed. So, first we have to understand fully, and then we have to start their information services in the libraries. So, broadly we can categorize the information services in 2 parts. First is responsive information services, and another is anticipatory information services. So, we will discuss what is responsive information service and what is anticipatory information service. So, responsive information services are like when user asks to the library staff and the library staff provide the services to the users. So, basically the users queries they submit to the library staff and the library staff answer to their queries. So, these query could be like where the reference section is, where the newspaper section is, where are the textbook sections. So, we can categorize these responsive services into the various categories. For instance, the provision of journal information. So, this like where is the OPAC. So, these journal kind of information also fall under the responsive information, and then library staff answer to the queries of the users, where the OPAC is located, where the reference section is located, where the newspaper section is. So, this is fall under the responsive, and these are mainly only what part or where part. It does not fall under the category of like why part mainly. So, the responsive in user submit their response their query to the library staff, and the library staff responded to their query. And another category of the responsive service is the reference service. Reference service here, reference service means it is a personalized service where we try to make a contact between the library document and the user's requirements. And this reference service can also be categorized into 2 parts, like long range reference service or short range reference service. And then we have another category is literature search and compiling of subject bibliography, that is another responsive information service, and then document delivery service, and then referral service. So, let us discuss one by one in detail. So, provision of journal information, in this sometime reader asks for the help of the that how to use the library, how to use the library resources, how to use the library services, and their queries can be like user asks for assistance in use on online public access catalog. Library also organize sometime to cater such kind of queries orientation program, and in that orientation program library staff explain what we have in our library, what are the services which we provide, how you can use these services and resources optimally. So, this is one category of responsive information service, and another is reference service. Reference service was first time started in 1896 in America. It is provided by the reference department in a library that helps the library patron to get the access to the required information. Dr. S. Ranganathan defined reference service is a service is that process of establishment the content between a reader and his document in a personal way. Means it is a personalized service which we try to contact the readers and the documents. Reference section of a library assists the users to answer the query relating to the request users have in mind, as well as helping the users to locate the information that they need in the library. So, there are various definitions given by various scholars what the reference service is. So, American Library Association's glossary of library terms define reference service as reference service that phase of library work which is directly concerned with assistance to readers seeking information and in using the resources of a library in study and research. So, that they define means reference service is a kind of library work which we try to assist the user, so that they can get the appropriate document in a shortest possible time. Here the time is very important, because the main aim of reference service is to provide the document in the shortest possible time, means as early as possible. Means if library is providing a reference service to the user, but they provide the document or provide the information after several hours, then obviously the staff is not efficient, and they are failed to provide the reference service to the users, and users are also not satisfied with such kind of reference service. So, here we have to keep in mind that we should supply the document as early as possible. Another definition given by Ranganathan, which says that it is a personal service to each reader in helping him to find documents, answering his interests most pinpointedly, exhaustively and expeditiously. So, these three things is clearly highlighted by Ranganathan, that you have to provide the information pinpointedly, that you have to provide the information very accurately, which is asked by the user, that also that you have to provide accurately. You can't provide information which is not asked by the user. So, pinpointedness is the key. Then you have to provide the information exhaustively, means you have to provide the maximum information related to that query. So, if user asks for one book and the library has two appropriate books relating to that query. So, instead of providing one book, the library should provide the two books, means maximum information which is available in the library should be provided to the users. And we have to provide that information expeditiously, means we have to provide it as fast as possible. There are another scholar, Buggy and Boop, in 2001 categorize reference service as follows, and they state that information service that involves either finding the required information on behalf of user or assisting users in finding information. And they also state that instruction in the use of library resources and services such as information literacy skills. It is a user guidance in which users are guided in selecting the most appropriate information sources and services. Reference department are responsible to monitor and perform this kind of services to the use. It is basically to help the users to fulfill and satisfy their information needs. So, they state that it is kind of guidance. This service is a kind of guidance in which users are guided in selecting the most appropriate information sources and services. So, they stated that it is not just providing information, it is kind of a guidance through which we provide the appropriate information, through which we guide the user to select the appropriate information, most relevant information available in the library. Rather than providing lots of information, we have to provide the accurate pinpointed information. So, this as such, this definition also support the definition which is given by the Ranganathan in three major terms, that we have to provide information pinpointedly, we have to provide information exhaustively, and we have to provide information expeditiously. So, we can broadly we can categorize the reference service in two parts. First is ready reference or short range reference service. It is about providing answer to short range reference service. Generally, it is about providing facts, finding questions such as what, where, who, when and how. The query can be what is the capital of Bhutan, who is the president of USA, and where is the Los Angeles is located, in which country it is located. So, all these query which is only confined to what, where, who, when and how, they fall under the category of ready reference service, or we can call it a short range reference service. Uh, and you know libraries get such queries on on daily basis, and such query can be answered within 1 minute to maximum 30 minutes. And in public library 90% of the queries are the can be solved through a ready reference service or short range reference service. Another category of reference service is called long range reference service. In order to solve the research problem, the long range reference service is provided to the researcher. This type of reference service usually provided to specialists in the field. Information is searched in several sources to provide a long range reference service. So, here in long range reference service, we have to consult various sources, whether it is a primary sources, whether it is a secondary sources, whether it is a tertiary sources, and we collect this information from these three type of sources. We analyze them, we synthesize them, and we deliver to the user. So, in long range reference service, the query can be solved in half an hour, it can go to up to 1 day, it can go up to 1 week, and sometimes the reference query can be solved by by investing several weeks of time. So, in fact, sometime if information is not available in local library, then information is sought through interlibrary loan from other libraries. It takes much longer time compared to the short range reference service. Sometime in long range reference service, information selected from various sources is analyzed, evaluated, synthesized, and repackaged before delivery to the user. In this, document are provided to the users, unlike the data or fact provided in a short range reference service. In short range reference service, we generally provide the data, the numbers, what, why, how we we solve that query, because the queries are generally or related to what, where, when, and how. But in long range reference service, we have to give the document, unlike the facts or figures which we provide in short range reference service. So, here document delivery is very important in long range reference service. So, why now you need to understand why we need to provide a reference service in libraries. Reference service aims is to provide the right information to the right user at a right time. Therefore, it saves the time of the users. If you will not provide a reference service in libraries, user they will go from one shelf to others, they will go one library to other library, and they will waste lots of their time, and the researcher's time is very valuable, and therefore, we have to save the time of the user, because we have to fulfill the fourth law of Ranganathan. The Ranganathan says library has 5 laws, and the fourth law is very important, which says save the time of the user. Therefore, to fulfill this fourth law, library provide a reference service. It provides the relevant information to the right user, because reference service main aim is to provide the relevant information to the right user, and therefore, this service is also needed. It encourages the researcher in conducting the research by providing the information pinpointedly and exhaustively. It also encourages the optimal use of library resources. So, that is also the need. Because this the money of the library is a taxpayer money, which we add into the library collection is the taxpayer money, and we have to justify whether that money is being used optimally or not, and that can be only justified through the reference service, when we will provide the right information to the right user at a right time. So, this is basically the need. Then another type of responsive service is literature search or preparing bibliography. In this, we search the literature related to the topic of the study of the researcher or allied area of the study or his study, and then we compile the list of the literature and we supply to the researcher. In the literature search, there is a various strategy librarians has to follow. They have to first confine their topic, then they have to segregate their topic in various keywords or various subjects, and then they have to use various operators, and then they retrieve results and prepare the entries and supply to the researcher in the form of bibliography, whether it is a subject bibliography or whether it is a author bibliography and others. So, literature search is under responsive service provided by the library. Another type of responsive service is assistance in the use of library collection and library tools, because there are many users, those do not understand how to use the library resources, how to use the online public access code catalog, how to use the various reference sources. So, assistance in the use of OPAC, assist in the use of reference sources, assist in the use of online databases fall under this category in assist in the use of library collection and tools. Another type of responsive service is referral service. Some no library is self sufficient, they have to depend on a other libraries also. Sometimes they have to borrow books from other library on interlibrary loan. So, here instead of borrowing books from other library and supplying to the users, here the reference librarian or the staff refer the user to other libraries, that they suggest us to go to this library and where you can find the relevant document related to your studies. And this referral service is not only confined to the libraries or document, sometimes library staff or reference staff also refer to the individuals, or sometimes they also refer to the different institutions other than libraries. So, referral staff here, the library reference staff refer the users to other institution or individuals to fulfill their information needs. Another category for responsive information need is document delivery service. In other service, users are guided to the source where information is located. However, in DDS, document is print or electronic form is delivered to the user. The ICT has made DDS very prompt, and libraries are able to store and send the electronic document to the user. So, here in document delivery, we deliver the documents itself to the user. And earlier we in traditional mode, library used to provide only the information or provide the link to the of the document to the user. But because of the advent of photocopying services and with the advent of electronic databases, library now is providing the full text documents, library providing the Xerox copy of the document to the users through a document delivery service. So, now you must have understand why we need an information and why we need to provide an information services in library. Without an information services in library is just like a storehouse, and to fulfill the information needs of the user, we have to provide the information services. They should be very robust, they should be exhaustive, and they should be very pinpointed. And these information services are to fulfill the all 5 laws of library science, which says that books are for use, every reader should get his or her book, every book should get its reader, we have to save the time of the user, and library is a growing organism. So, while providing information services to the user, we have to keep in mind these 5 fundamental laws, because these will help you to conceptualize the information. These fundamental laws will help you to understand the information needs of the users, and we would be able to achieve the objective of any academic or research libraries. We also have to keep in mind the objective of any library and information centers, it should be aligned with the objective of the respective institutions, and these information services should be revamped time to time. We also have to find out the various solutions where these services can be modernized, how we can provide the better information services to our clienteles. And there is a basic difference between a traditional information service and the modern information service. In traditional information services, we are just guiding the users where this information is available, go to this section, go to this source. How in the modern information service environment, we are delivering the information to the doorstep of the user. So, here that is the key, delivery of the information to the user, pinpointed information, exhaustive information, and expeditiously providing in a shortest possible time is the key of success of any library. So, you have to keep in mind that we have to revamp our information services time to time. In traditional information services environment, we were guiding the users, go to this section, go to this reference source, go to this library. However, in modern information environment, we intend to deliver the right information to the right user at a right time, and these 3 terms are very important, that we have to provide the information pinpointedly, we have to provide the information exhaustively, and we have to provide the information expeditiously, so that the 5 laws of library science can be achieved. And while formulating an information service in academic and research library, you must keep in mind that these 5 laws are the fundamental. You must keep in mind these 5 laws of Ranganathan, which says that books are for use, every reader should get his or her information, every book should get its reader, we have to save the time of the user, and library is a growing organism. And besides that, we also have to keep in mind that objective of libraries should always be aligned with the objective of the institutions, and that is how we should keep in mind in revamping the information services. If the objective of the institution has been changed, we have to change the objective of the library, we have to change the mode of delivery of information services. So, with this mind, you also have to keep in mind the various type of information need before starting any information services in the libraries. So, this is all about the responsive information services in the academic and research library. In our next part, we will discuss the anticipatory information services. What are their categories, how you can provide information anticipatory services, how you will distinguish the anticipatory services with the responsive information service, that we will discuss in the next part. So, thank you very much.